I'm Dr. Ty Talcott. I'm the owner of HIPAA Compliance Solutions and the Texas Chiropractic Association, and I want to invite you to the most exciting live event you've ever been to. Okay, it's about HIPAA compliance. So maybe it's not the most exciting event you've ever been to, but it's important. Listen, this is happening on May the 7th, offered by the Chiropractic Association in Fort Worth, Texas at the American Airlines Training Center. I'll give you some more information on that in just a minute, but I've got to tell you, if you've been practicing just burying your head in the sand for the last few years on HIPAA, that used to work pretty good for most people. It wasn't a problem. Not anymore. It's gone crazy. Look at just 2016. Do you ever take any patient charts home? $289,000 fine for an office manager taking charts home and not having policies in place to protect them under the HIPAA law during transportation and storage in their home. How about patient testimonials? You ever use one of those? $25,000 fine for not having the right HIPAA authorization forms in place. How about your risk analysis? Have you got that in place? Washington, D.C. says if you don't have a risk analysis and a checklist is not adequate, if you don't have a risk analysis, you don't have a HIPAA program at all, no matter what else you've done. And that puts you into a classification called willful neglect, and it could be up to a $50,000 fine to $1.5 million. You have to pay attention to these things. The Office of the Inspector General just investigated the Office of Civil Rights, who enforces HIPAA, and said they aren't doing their job because they're not auditing enough people. Well, they've had 14,500 complaints since the beginning of time. Oh, yeah, except for last year when they had 15,500 complaints in a 12-month period, more than the entire history of the law since back in 1996. And the OCR, Office of Civil Rights, was just awarded an extra $4 million this year, specifically earmarked. It's an additional $4 million, specifically earmarked for doing physician office audits. Those are random audits. Oh yeah, and how about your ICER? Have you got that in place, ready to go when they request and say, no, not request, when they demand you send a copy of your ICER, you're just ready to send that right off? Oh, you don't know what ICER is? That would be true of every audience I've talked to in the last 2 years. I did 40 presentations last year. I'm teaching now for 25 chiropractic state associations and 2 colleges. I'm all over the country. Nobody even knows what that is, unless they've been to one of my trainings or somebody's training, webinars or something. They've never heard of such a thing. Not meeting all of the HIPAA standards is not a good plan anymore. You have to meet the standards. Enforcement is happening for a whole slew of reasons that I will be explaining at the live event, as well as what you need to do, what those standards are. So let me give you the details now. It is at the American Airlines Training and Conference Center in Fort Worth. It's on May the 7th, that's a Saturday. It is sponsored by the Texas Chiropractic Association, and here's how you register. You go to chirotex.org/HIPAA. By the way, HIPAA is HIPAA, not HIPPAA. It is HIPAA. So that is chirotex.org/HIPAA. I think that's what I need to get to you for the information so that now you know. Be there. It's time to be safe.